Did we start? Did we start? Yeah, we're about to start, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to start. From Palm Springs, California. Here we are.
It's the evening show.
It's an evening show, 3 minutes past the hour, wherever you are around the world. Here in Palm Springs,
we're back on our channel.
5 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, yes, we are back on our English-speaking channel, Top Secret, the LeoZagami show. So maybe a few people have missed us. For those people who have actually missed us, I would suggest you immediately subscribe to the emergency channel. Yes, we have an emergency channel because otherwise they're not going to be able to follow us. So I'm going to actually in the description put the link, or actually what am I do here? What am I do?
Please, of course, subscribe because we missed you guys.
Well, we definitely want to give them the right channel, the link for the channel. So let me see if I can simply put it here for them in the chat room where they're all. Here we are. Okay, perfect. So that's it. I'm gonna put it here for you guys. This is the normal channel, while instead the emergency channel, because we have the emergency channel, is a different channel. Just a second. Actually, I gave them the other channel. Christy.
Did you give them the channel we're on?
Yeah. No, I gave them the channel we're on, but I gave them the channel that the usual one. Now, the emergency channel I have to give them. So, welcome.
Subscribe to both of them.
So, yeah. Because I'm pretty sure that here we are going towards probably this channel is going to be removed. I can't find the other channel. Can't find it. I'm trying to find. No, I have to find it to share the link. I'm transmitting from. I'm transmitting. No, this is the other one. No, this is the one. Okay, this is the one. I found it, guys. I found it. So welcome. Here we are. Now, just so you get the right context. We are broadcasting also on Facebook, but we have had some problems in the past with YouTube, and so after the second strike, when you get the third strike, that's when you get banned. So
we're like really close to being knocked out.
Yeah. So that's what this channel is. Well, yeah, I now put this channel here, which is a new channel. Here we are. We have it. I'm putting it in the chat. Okay. So people can.
So one day.
No, that is now it went back to give me the other one. What I'm doing? I don't know. Yeah, because no, it is the right channel. It's just that people get it from the various things, because when I post, it comes in from all the sources where we are broadcasting. Okay, so subject of the day, Cyber Satan's Apocalypse. Let's start immediately after this 6-minute introduction, which was rather long and dedicated to nothing.
No, it's important.
It's important.
Everybody subscribes.
Yeah, that's important. Okay, Cyber Satan's Apocalypse. We, of course, Davos. I think actually Davos. It might be today the last day. I'm not sure, but it started with who? Who do you think opened this event?
George Soros.
No, even worse than that. I'm talking about even worse than that. So who can be worse than that?
Obama.
No.
Clinton.
No. Something much more powerful. I'm talking about
the Pope.
No, even more powerful.
Oh, that Chinese.
Not that Chinese guy. He's Xi Jinping, the General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party, former military and politician. He actually got to introduce, basically to open the whole forum. This year, of course, Davos was virtual because they have accomplished their mission. So now they are going virtual and they're moving around the world. Who cares? Probably they're meeting in secret somewhere else. But the important thing you have to understand is that today you will understand the connections that no other show will give you. Plus, we are basically starting to unfold some little few of the secrets that will be revealed in the upcoming volume 7 of my Confessions, which is about to come out. Okay, so people don't know who really inspired the Klaus Schwab, aside from the Club of Rome, which we already discussed this previously. But there is some information today that we're going to give during the show that is going to literally turn upside down your world. So first of all, check out how the World Economic Forum inaugurated this year.
Human destiny. In the last 5 years, the world has become more interconnected than ever. But in many ways, it's becoming even more fragmented and polarized. China has made significant economic and social achievements under your leadership. In the first 3 quarters...
I mean, it's like he's introducing the guy who has basically broken most human rights ever. I mean, if we talk about somebody in the world who these days is really not respecting human rights, is China. And of course, they're never going to care about this. I'm going to just show you a brief executive summary for those who are following us. Welcome in the meantime. 9 minutes past the hour. This is the Leo Zagami Show. Leo Zagami and Christy. Thursday, 24th January 2022.
20th.
20th of January 2022.
Oh, yeah, I thought you said 24th.
No, it's the 20th.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay, so let's go through briefly through the here. China 2020 Human Rights Report. The People's Republic of China is an authoritarian state in which Communist Party is the paramount authority. Now, this happened, of course. This report was made when there was still a normal person in the White House. Normal, I mean, Donald J. Trump, who is definitely not on the side of the communist leadership. Though even Trump in 2020, January 2020, was there in Davos, trying to play, of course, the bad boy, but participating with everybody else to the last in-person event in Davos, because since then the pandemic started, and now they are not going anymore for the lavish dinners and exclusive, because they have a very exclusive setup there in Switzerland where they organize these events. So let's see, let's go back to Klaus Schwab, yeah, here.
Of 2021, China's economy grew by over 9%.
Sure, he's complimenting China, who, by the way, has ripped off half of the world, has unleashed on the world biological warfare on a scale unprecedented. And then, of course, this guy, maybe people don't know that, but his son is married to a Chinese woman, and there is a specific office of the World Economic Forum in Beijing. Do you know that? No. Yes, his son of Klaus Schwab, lives in China.
You have achieved a historic
Sorry, guys. By the way, kind of like London calling. Where we London calling? Like suddenly we received a call from London. Yeah, actually, there was a guy who said the London calling. Yes, there was a guy who said the London calling. He said London answers. No? How did
somebody donated.
Somebody made a donation. We want to say
thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all those people who actually encourage us, both by purchasing our books. These are Christie's 2 volumes, Confessions of an Illuminati Princess. Very precious, these books, because they give you the female version of the events. No, maybe you have heard about what happened to me through my books, through my interviews, but Christie's, of course, view of things is different. It's original, and it's a female point of view that definitely needs to be read. And then we have volume 4. If you want to know more about the connections between China, the Illuminati, the Jesuits, and the whole show, the Sabbatean Frankists, who they are, who they are not, their connection to the Jesuits. how the present virus spread around the world and the decline of the Western of the West and the rise of Satanism in our society. This is volume 5, new edition. Then, of course, we have this book, which goes hand in hand with the subject of today, because it's very important to understand what Klaus Schwab is proposing here. But let's move forward, because we lost you for a second. There was a technical problem of sorts. So we basically lost what we were trying to... we had Klaus Schwab talking. So let's go back to Klaus Schwab.
For leaders to come together and work jointly for the world to become more inclusive, more sustainable, and more prosperous. We now welcome His Excellency Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China.
Professor Klaus Schwab, ladies and gentlemen, friends, greetings to you all. It is my pleasure to attend this virtual session of the World Economic Forum. In 2 weeks' time, China will celebrate the advent of spring in the Lunar New Year, the Year of the Tiger. In Chinese culture, tiger symbolizes bravery and strength, as the Chinese people often refer to spirited dragon and dynamic tiger, or soaring dragon and leaping tiger. To meet the severe challenges facing humanity, we must add wings to the tiger and act with the courage and strength of the tiger to overcome all obstacles on our way forward. We must do everything necessary to clear the shadow of the pandemic and boost economic and social recovery and development, so that the sunshine...
Okay, so let's take it from here a second. The Year of the Tiger. As we embark on the Chinese Year of the Tiger, actually this is very interesting, because there is even further attempts to destroy our Western culture, our customs, our habits and ideas. But it's important to understand what the Year of the Tiger represents, because the tiger is symbolic of many things. So, you know, it's like China could be the red dragon, the dragon of the apocalypse. But however, in my book, I also explain all the various connections in my upcoming book with this Year of the Tiger, with Ursa Major, which was also called the dog of Set Typhon with the Egyptians, King Set the Antichrist, the Great Reset as Great King Set. And these are all connections that, of course, have to do also with the occult world. So in mythology, the tiger lives 1,000 years. It's like we are almost close to the great 1,000 years Reich. And that's what really struck me, is that they are really preparing this Fourth Reich with Klaus Schwab as kind of like the manager of the whole thing. We have, of course, the Jesuits behind the scenes. We know that Klaus Schwab has connections right from the start of his World Economic Forum in Davos with Rome, with the Club of Rome, Aurelio Peccei, but also with the Order of the Golden Fleece, which is particularly important because it's connected to the Illuminati. And I will explain all this in my upcoming book. So you see, these things all fit together with what's happening with my upcoming book. But the tiger is also something that is known in the occult tradition in the East as something you have to dominate in some way. And Julius Evola in particular, who was a known Illuminati philosopher, worshipped by the right wing, as they call it, in around the world. He's a very famous person, at least in the intellectual, sort of neo-fascist movement, let's say. And he actually wrote a book called Ride the Tiger. Ride the Tiger, and this book, he said he chose this phrase, Ride the Tiger, because it may serve as a transition between what has been said hitherto and this other order of ideas. So the phrase is a Far Eastern saying expressing the idea that if one succeeds in riding a tiger, not only does one avoid having it leap on one, but if one can keep one seat and not fall off, one may eventually get better off it. So we will have to ride the Chinese tiger and to survive it with our great reject, which is basically the project that we are launching here. No, rejecting the great reset, the great king set with the great reject. So this is very important. But let's continue to hear what President Xi Jinping has said, and then we will, of course, have to explain how the Vatican, the Second Vatican Council, influenced directly Klaus Schwab and the birth of the Davos agenda and the Great Reset that followed, because the Great Reset is like the culmination of decades of work from a guy who, up until 1969, the year his company, the family had worked for over 100 years with this company. His father, his grandfather, with the Swiss company based in Zurich, which had also a branch in Germany. And this company is a very particular company because, of course, it participated in the making of the production for the heavy water necessary to make the first atomic bomb. And they were actually helping the Nazis. Fortunately, they didn't manage. But Klaus, his father, used prisoners of war, POWs from both Russia and other countries during the war. And he himself used to go all the time in Switzerland during the war. Of course, he was still a little child. I mean, he was born in 1938. But he says he was so lucky to be able to go backwards and forwards and stuff. I wonder if he knew how his father was actually... he received an award by the Nazis as Nazi Company of the Year. So, I mean, it's like he has some kind of connection which is very strong with the Third Reich, and now he's in charge of the rise of the Fourth Reich.
May light up the future of humanity.
So
the world today
he thinks they are lighting the future of humanity. The Chinese are thinking they're lighting the future of humanity. They have screwed up half of the planet. That's okay.
is undergoing major changes unseen in a century. These changes, not limited to a particular moment, event, country, or region, represent the profound and sweeping changes of our times. As changes of the times combine with the once-in-a-century pandemic, the world finds itself in a new period of turbulence and transformation. How to beat the pandemic and how to build the post-COVID world, these are major issues of the common concern to people.
Now, the post-COVID world, that's really where we should understand the Fourth Reich, because he calls it the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We should call it for what it is, the Fourth Reich. Now, Klaus Schwab wants a great reset which will lead to a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological identity with implantable microchips that can read your thoughts. So at that point, you will have no longer any privacy. Klaus Schwab is really at the head of the transhumanist cyber Satan movement. That's why today we have called this episode the Cyber Satan's Apocalypse. And you can imagine this revolution is not a positive revolution when you have a guy like this in charge. And but where does he take his inspiration? So before we maybe go forward and listen to more of what Xi Jinping is saying, because it's always important, by the way. How is Michelle? Does it look okay? Okay. Before we move forward, I would like to go into the origins of all this mess. Where did Klaus Schwab take his communist inspiration? Well, he took his communist inspiration from an archbishop, from a priest, and he himself says it. He himself confesses to the world last year. He has created this think tank for young people. Aside from now having created the World Economic Forum, he has also created another kind of similar thing to brainwash also the young people. He was asked a few questions during an interview, and during this interview that he gave to the Global Shavers community, that, by the way, last year was celebrating their 10th anniversary, he confessed finally who was his inspiration at a crucial moment and how really he embraced communism, even if at that time it wasn't popular. And he admits that. Okay, so open your ears, ladies and gentlemen, because what you're about to hear is essential to understand really where we are heading.
The world, to improve the state of the world one community at a time.
Whatever you do, and when you are very engaged, you still have moments where you are tested.
I like when Klaus Schwab talks, of course, he has, that accent that makes him look like he's working in a concentration camp, No, we don't want to. I mean, jeez.
And where you have to live up to your values. I give you one example, which for me...
Yes, so he said you have to live up to your values. So we want to understand what are his values. So ladies and gentlemen, please share this video. It's important. We are trying to make people knowledgeable about things. Wherever you are around the world, please subscribe to these channels that we have set up for you. Also, this new emergency channel, because we don't know for how long So you always subscribe to. Otherwise, you can go to Leo Lion Zagami in America, which is a Facebook page, and they never bring us down usually there. Once, only once. Let's say less than YouTube. So now open your ears, because Klaus Schwab is gonna confess who inspired him, and you will be shocked.
Hitler.
No.
Was probably a crucial moment in my life. I traveled for the first time to Brazil. I met a priest who was known at that time as the priest of the poor people.
The priest of the poor people. Now, the priest of the poor people happened to be an archbishop. It wasn't like, the priest of the poor people. No, it was a guy who actually had participated to the Second Vatican Council and who was involved with the Pact of the Catacombs. But listen.
His name was Don Elder Camara. And he brought me to the favelas of Recife, and I was so shocked. And I said, I have to invite this bishop to Davos to tell the people what poverty is. So I invited him to the annual meeting in Davos. But then when I came back in Switzerland, I found out that actually he was forbidden at that time to speak in Switzerland, because he was considered to be a communist. And I said, this is for me a test. But then I noticed that many companies told me, if you invite this person who is so much against...
No, rewind. The guy who inspired Klaus Schwab, the priest he's talking about, is a gentleman by the name Elder Camara. This guy, a Brazilian priest, who self-identified as a communist himself, he actually said, they call me a communist. He actually said it, so he is the mentor of Pope Francis. Got it? So he didn't listen to the people at that time in Switzerland. It was in the middle, we were at the height of the Cold War. Nobody wanted the communists in Switzerland, but he invited him. Nevertheless, listen what he says.
Against business, we will not come to Davos anymore. And that's where I had to stand to my values.
So his values. So he stands up to his values, means his values, he's a communist.
Even at the risk that I would have to give up the World Economic Forum.
Wow.
So, ooh, wow. And then the left said, ooh, wow. Even at the risk, he will give up. Yeah, I will give up my World Economic Forum, yeah? Oh.
But it went very well. I have to say, the audience in Davos listened to him.
The audience listened.
But unfortunately, even today, 40 years later, we still have so much poverty.
So, the Pact of the Catacombs. Christy, did you ever hear about the Pact of the Catacombs? It happened 3 weeks before the end of the Second Vatican Council that lasted a few years. So it was like a long event. 3 weeks before they concluded this synod of bishops that came from all over the world to reshape the future of the church, the group of more progressive, communistic bishops that really wanted to transform the church following their Marxist values went to the catacombs where we brought Tony that time. You remember?
Those?
Yes.
Those are the ones that we went to?
Yes. They went under there in the middle of the night and they had a secret meeting. Now, there is a trailer of, I think, of a documentary film about what happened, and we can check it out. Of course, the catacombs are the catacombs of Domitilla, which are not far from the Appia Road.
It was important for me to organize a trip to the Domitilla catacomb because here, 50 years ago, the Pact of the Catacombs was signed.
Now, Christy, this brings you back a lot of memories because me and you went to this place. Remember? And there was actually this...
Are you thinking about that priest?
Which one? The one that
took us around?
Yeah, he was like, he was flaming. He was flamingly homosexual. I mean, flaming. He was literally very camp as it can get. At one point, he was particularly in love with that actor from. You remember? He cited it. That actor who did the Gladiator. What's his name? I think it's Australian.
Who's that guy?
Guy, but he was like talking about him. Oh, so beautiful, this actor. Remember, he said that. Anyway, let me get back to the inspiration, for Klaus Schwab that came from the catacombs of Rome.
A document lying in the back of some file in the Vatican, but something that people took that day when they left and lived it out.
That pact and that promise to get back to the simplicity of the Gospels, that flame was lit to rediscover the simplicity and the radicalness of that message of the kingdom of God being at hand.
Archbishop Romero was neither a Marxist revolutionary nor a naive bishop. His inspiration was the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, sure. That's it. You see, they want to, basically, the idea was we have to go back to the Illuminati here, the Order of the Illuminati founded by another professor, because this German professor seems to be very much, revolutionizing the world. So we had a German professor, in the Ingolstadt University called Adam Weishaupt, who founded in 1776 the Illuminati. And his idea was basically what Klaus Schwab is doing now with the Great Reset. But also, he got convinced by Knigge, Baron Knigge, who was his collaborator, to in a way hide all this anti-Christian communistic enterprise under the facade of a sort of Jesus 10 communist. Basically, they brainwash people in the Illuminati degrees to make them think that you can all be sons of God and that Jesus was nothing special in the end, apart from a mystery school teacher of sorts. He's not the savior of mankind. He's not ever called the savior of mankind, but they use very much references to the Apocalypse, to the Book of Revelation, to many other passages of the Bible during the initiations of the Order of the Illuminati. Now, like I said, there is some direct connections that go all the way from the Order of the Illuminati to the Great Reset, passing through the lodges of Italy, Switzerland, Austria. Now, all these mysteries will be unveiled in my new book.
I never got initiated into the Illuminati.
You got initiated into the Freemasons.
I know. I never got initiated in the Illuminati.
But you got initiated in a rite of Freemasonry that was basically very close.
There's
to
another thing that you can do, and you can be in the Illuminati.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I never did it.
No, but I mean, of course.
There's an owl involved.
Yes, but the Illuminati, in a way, unfortunately, even if I try to reform the ritual, the rite, in a way, it's profoundly, in the end, manipulative, because it makes the people at the lower level think certain things, that they are peaceful, revolutionary, that they will never do a revolution of sorts, but just through, they will just convince the monarchs. Instead, when you go to the upper degrees, then you realize that they want to overthrow governments and instigate a worldwide communist revolution. So that is really a lot. I know for those who are following us now, this is the Leo Zagami show, by the way. 34 minutes past the hour, and we are showing a trailer from a documentary dedicated to the Pact of the Catacombs, which influenced, as you heard from Klaus Schwab himself, Klaus Schwab.
Catholic social teaching and the commitment expressed by the Catholic bishops of Latin America to the option for the poor.
The Catacomb Pact. It's a clear vision, a clear mission for a church serving those that need our services most, the poor and marginalized. In simple terms, to be close to those in need and to put the last first.
Now, they make it look like this was a great thing. And in fact, they have relaunched really the idea of this Pact of the Catacombs with the arrival of Pope Francis, because Pope Francis himself was inspired to embrace Marxism from this priest, which we've been talking about, Eder Camara, who then in turn went to Davos. And from that moment onwards, Klaus Schwab transformed Davos in a place where you will be basically, you see, they call me a communist. That's it. Elder Camara. And the idea is simply wrong for this reason. Okay. You can say whatever you want. We are all the sons of God, of course. We are all creatures of God. We are all the same in front of God. But you can't equiparate Jesus to anybody else in the world, because he's the chosen one and he's the King of Kings. Now, that kingdom is a very serious monarchic path. And you see, what I've tried to explain also in my new book is to make everybody understand, also here in the republic in which we stand, and I hope we will stand for a long time in this republic, but it's transforming itself in a communist shithole, unfortunately, with people like Joe Biden, with people like the Nancy Pelosi. But the party is nothing. It's not the party. It's the Silicon Valley mafia. It's the whole system that is pushing towards socialism. Because what they have understood here in this part of the world, the people who are in the business now with China, you just talk about any company in Silicon Valley, they're all interconnecting with China in one way or another. They know that China is a nation where one man decides for everyone. So in reality, communism brings another kind of monarchy that is even worse. The monarchy has a system which is, the king, and then there is all kinds of, you have all the system. You have the dukes, the barons, the marquis. In communism, you have a very shadowy system in which, yes, you have the supreme, like the Soviet supreme during the communist time, and they rule. But now, this gentleman here has asked his party extra powers. He's going to rule for the whole of his life. So it's basically like a king or like an emperor. And sincerely, the values that the communism instigate are completely wrong, because we are not born all the same, and we have our own identity that is scraped off when you are embracing that kind of socialistic nightmare. At the same time, why did Klaus Schwab embrace this communistic vision? Because this is the vision of the elite, which he wants to push so that we will be happy without owning nothing. The cars will be car sharing. They will decide with a switch button now that is apparently passing as a law in Congress that they can have this switch button in the car. That means they can turn off your car in any moment in the new cars. You buy an electric car, you're going to end up, boom, and they switch it off. But then there is another thing. The Pact of the Catacombs was made after the Second Vatican Council, which served the purpose of destroying Christianity gradually, embracing this Masonic religion, progressive Masonic religion, with the teachings that in secret they gave in the Illuminati, where basically Jesus was sold to the Freemasons as actually just another version of Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff, Jesus was equiparated. So the fact that in the third degree of the Freemasons, you die and then you are reborn, of course, they could find an analogy with Jesus, and that's what they did. But the other interesting thing here is that this is all interconnected, guys, because without Adam Weishaupt, we would not have had Filippo Buonarroti, who then expired in all the lodges inspired by the Illuminati, the Illuminist lodges, which basically started to destroy the idea of monarchy. And that's why the monarchs got a bad deal in Europe. They got, and then the Tsar, that was the last one to be brought down, eliminated completely, destroyed, melt into acid with the whole family. And that was because it all started with the Illuminati, you see. If the Chinese Communist Party was founded, inspired by Karl Marx, it was because Karl Marx was himself inspired by the Illuminati. So it's in turn, this virus, because it's a virus, communism, is a much more dangerous and pervasive virus than any other viruses that we have around today. And that's so if you didn't have the Illuminati, you will not have had communism, you will not have had the Soviet revolution, and then the Soviet Russia, and then you will not have had the communist China. And basically, you will not have had the virus that came out of communist China, because we are in this situation because of them. So the fact that Klaus Schwab admits that he was inspired by this communist priest. He says in his book that his agenda is to primarily dismantle the current capitalistic system in favor of greater centralized technocratic rule, which will lead to lower living standards, less fuel consumption, fewer civil liberties, and accelerated automation of jobs. Christy, what do you think of this kind of reality?
I think it's horrible. It's a prison. It's a prison planet. It's terrible.
Now, do you know that the Shaping the Future for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, his book was particularly popular in China?
Oh.
The book
I don't
of
understand why they don't understand that they're in prison living like that.
Because they like it. And they
like
it in China, but not only in China. Do you know that Klaus Schwab book is particularly popular in South Korea? and Japan, with the South Korean military alone purchasing 16,000 copies of this book, because the mentality in Asia is very much the herd mentality. I'm sorry to say that, because I love very much the Japanese gave me the possibility of the Japanese gave me the possibility of printing my first books. But it's also true that the moment in which I started to deal with Japan in particular, they started to have problems with my work. It's like if in Japan I can criticize the New World, everything that is abroad, but as soon as I started to talk about the interconnections between the Freemasons in Japan, the OTO, the Jesuits, this and that, boom, they were like,
sayonara,
bye-bye. So you see, they're
very polite about it.
But they're very polite about it. But the problem is that they have this, you have to admit, they have this mentality in which it's a kind of a herd mentality. They all follow, no?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
So the thing that we have here is that Klaus Schwab is looked at somebody who is proposing something new. But in reality, when you go and see what he's proposing what Adam Weishaupt and the Illuminati had actually envisioned. A society in which, in the end, we will own nothing. Because it's the complete elimination of capitalism that we are fronting here, that we are in some way. The fourth industrial revolution is basically the Fourth Reich. And the secrets of this Fourth Reich and how it came into existence and how it's raising and becoming, manifesting in this prison planet, like somebody is actually saying in the chat, is a subject that, of course, I had to deal with in detail in my new book.
I'm getting depressed.
Well, you still haven't started editing my new book. I don't get even more depressed, maybe. But I will say that you will not get depressed, because there is a twist to the book, and that is the Great Reject. And that is that there is certain things we can do to reject the Great Reset and reject, of course, all these spineless idiots who are basically following blindly, complying. No, too many people comply these days, Christy. That's why they blindly go towards injecting themselves with anything proposed by science. Like science is the ultimate God that will save us. But science is not the ultimate God.
I'm hearing of someone, I'm not even going to say because I don't want to get banned. So.
Now, I'm very happy that soon I will bring out my new book, but it's also very important that you read also the previous books. And for that reason, this book in particular shows also the connection between China and the Jesuits, which are very important to understand also where we are today. Just as this book, which was prophetic, because the back cover basically is the symbol of the World Health Organization, and this was printed in February 2019. And already here, I reveal how the Vatican has been participating in a kind of a quite aggressive way towards then embracing this whole artificial intelligence reality of sorts. The interesting thing is that actually CNN 7 years ago now talked about the Pact of the Catacombs, admitting that they actually influenced the Marxist liberation theology and admitting that it was something that very communistic. But let's listen from the Communist News Network, Chinese News Network, no, CNN. CNN actually have an image that is a kind of a synchronicity. Interesting, no? Okay. Oh, Marilyn. I don't know why she's there. I don't know why she's there. But listen to what they say here about this Pact of the Catacombs.
What is this?
This is Marilyn. They must be doing a series on CNN.
Oh, cool.
Well, but this is basically an ad
Oh, yeah. I'll watch that.
on CNN.
Reframed Marilyn Monroe. Cool.
Well, so let's listen what.
Year-old Father Luigi Battazzi is the last known survivor of a secret pact that experts say may have influenced Pope Francis. Signed 50 years ago at the time of Vatican II by Catholic bishops in this underground church in Rome. Called the Pact of the Catacombs, it vowed to create a poor church for the poor, the same church Pope Francis says he wants today.
I always say that Pope Francis is the new Catacombs Pact.
Now, this pact had 13 points, and in it, these bishops vowed to avoid wealth or the appearance of wealth, including in what they wore, not wearing rich vestments or loud colors, avoiding gold and silver.
Yeah.
They also said they wouldn't accept invitations to extravagant dinners.
Now, one thing I would like to say is that the interesting thing about these catacombs in particular, they are the only ones, Christy, which still have bodies in them. You remember?
Yeah.
They are not like the other catacombs in Rome. It's like they needed this energy from these dead bodies that pervades already Rome, because Rome is built on a bunch of catacombs. But these ones in particular, wow.
They also vowed to put pressure on international organizations to
See,
help change the
we will
economic
put
structure.
pressure to change the economic structure. This was 1965.
That are remarkably similar to Pope Francis.
Immediately after, they created the Club of Rome. Soon after that, then Davos.
Too, did not talk enough about the poor.
We were a bit disappointed that the council had not spoken.
Yeah,
The
sure.
signer sent a letter to the Pope at the time, Paul VI, but Battazzi says the Vatican was too afraid of the political, especially Marxist connections, of aligning themselves too much with the struggles of the poor. Now, this pact is mysterious because after it was signed, it essentially went underground, and the promises it made were kept alive only by a few. And what we know about it today is on letters and the testimony of those who signed it. American nun Sister Sally Hogden recently addressed a Vatican conference on the Pact of the Catacombs. She says knowledge of the pact was kept alive mostly in Latin America and became a foundational document for the Latin American church's focus on the poor. There were 500 bishops who signed it later, most of them from Latin America. So my guess is that Pope Francis did know about it as he grew up in the church in Latin America. Pope Francis has said that reaching out to the poor is what Jesus did. But like the pact, he also wants a church.
You see, the thing is that I guess. No, you don't have to guess. Pope Francis knew Archbishop Camara, and so it's all part of this pact that then, of course, it was Klaus Schwab himself that has admitted that it was the biggest influence in the crucial moment of his life. He decided to bring the Archbishop who organized the pact, because Archbishop Camara is not any one. He's not one of the 42 bishops. He's the guy who organized the whole thing. It's very different. So, going back to China, Klaus Schwab, it's definitely somebody who has some strong connections with China. And I said it right at the beginning of this show. What are these connections? Well, the main connection that Klaus Schwab has with China is his son. His son that is married to a Chinese woman. Nobody brings this thing up. So I haven't heard one single person talking about the fact that Klaus Schwab has a direct link to China and even an office in Beijing. Aside from that, he was also a member of the steering committee of the Bilderberg Group. So he was actually one of the central figures in the Bilderberg Group. It's not any figure. But let me show you something regarding his personal life. We pick it up here from Wikipedia just to show our viewers. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in. We are, of course, going towards the end of the show, but we're bringing a lot of news today, on this subject. I guess the cyber Satan apocalypse. Who generated the cyber Satan apocalypse? Now, here we are, the personal life. Somebody said an opinion of Trudeau. What opinion you want to have from a Canadian slave of the system? I mean, the guy is completely lost. Okay, so here we have Oliver Schwab, who is married to a Chinese woman and heads the World Economic Forum office in Beijing. So there is a direct family connection.
On the world. There are also major urgent questions we must give answers to. As the Chinese saying goes, the momentum of the world either flourishes or declines. The state of the world either progresses or regresses. The world is always developing through the movement of contradictions. Without contradiction, nothing would exist. The history of humanity is a history of achieving growth by meeting various tests, and of developing by overcoming various crises. We need to move forward by following the logic of historical progress, and develop by riding the tide of development of our times. Notwithstanding all vicissitudes, humanity will move on. We need to learn from comparing long history cycles and see the changing things through the subtle and minute. We need to foster new opportunities amidst crises, open up new horizons on the shifting landscape.
Sure, New Horizons. Here's the man of the New Horizons. Here he is. Wow, World Economic. Who is this guy? Oh, George Soros. So, I mean, it's like people need to understand that all these people are interconnected. This whole mafia is interconnected, and of course, is linked to the Vatican. Is linked to the Vatican, is linked to the Pope, is linked to the Jesuits, is linked to the Sabbatean Frankists, and many of these truths are to be found in this book, Volume 4 of my Confessions, aside from, of course, Volume 6.66. Now, we are about to open the Trudeau. Kevin Trudeau America. Yeah, remember that guy, the guy who was arrested for fraudulent behavior, some kind. He pretended he was some kind of involvement in the Illuminati, then he ended up in jail. I remember that guy, I remember. Everything is definitely connected, and we are witnessing, though, this gradual increase towards implementing the Great Reset and implementing this original idea. No?
One without extravagant clothing, fancy titles, or apartments, especially at the Vatican.
Even before Pope Francis,
this is
all
a
of
show.
Us were trying to live this.
This is a show. This is not a real thing. All this show of Pope Francis, not wanting to, it's a show. It's not the truth.
But it's just easier now.
A secret pact for a poor church that has languished underground for 50 years, now resurrected through the work of Pope Francis.
Now, basically what happened, you remember there was the whole Pachamama Synod in Rome, the whole controversy. Now, during the Pachamama Synod, those priests, actually a lot of those priests, went and renovated the Pact of the Catacombs. I think I find here, I'm going to show the Pact of the Catacombs. There was a renovated Pact of the Catacombs during to renew this whole thing was done actually this time with the support of the Vatican. They even put it on the Vatican News. They went to the catacombs this time officially. A lot of South American, because of course they are very much dedicated to the Pact of the Catacombs, now that Pope Francis, because it was kind of on
they make
hold.
it like a ritual?
They made it a ritual. They made a mass, a group of synod fathers renews the Pact of the Catacombs, and this was done basically in 2019. And it was done, if you notice, it was done like in one particular period. October 2019, which is the period in which the virus started to spread from where? From China.
There's a fly in here.
It's a fly.
Yeah.
You will kill the fly. Huh? Fly usually represents Beelzebub.
All great strength to go through difficulties and challenges. First, we need to embrace cooperation and jointly defeat the pandemic.
To jointly defeat the pandemic, my dear
I look
friend.
like I'm wearing the same colors as the Chinese flag.
Well, no. The color is also the color of the Republican Party. But in any case, what I wanted to say is that he basically claims that we need to defeat this virus. But why doesn't he give us access to the lab then? I mean, he's doing everything possible to sabotage even the basic understanding of it. So this is a very hypocritical from a man who has made of hypocrisy. This is Marxist propaganda. This is not something to help the world. And I'm very disappointed that nobody has even the courage to criticize Klaus Schwab, because everybody's scared of Klaus Schwab. Well, I'm not scared of Klaus Schwab. I'm sorry, but I'm not scared. Klaus Schwab says that he borrowed something like $11,000 in 1970 to start this whole thing, and he made himself like this entrepreneur of the entrepreneur. We are all shareholders in this thing, and blah blah blah. And then he developed anyhow a lot of success. But the thing is that Klaus Schwab comes from a family that, like I said, had a background, very strong background with the Nazi elite, not just a background like this. And he had also a very strong background himself in the early 60s with bringing nuclear weapons, nuclear power to countries, not only nuclear power, but nuclear weapons to countries like South Africa, and then also we know that somebody helped out also the development of nuclear arsenal in Israel. But all this was possible only thanks to the heavy water that in some way made it from Norway to all these countries. And the heavy water was produced using a turbine that was produced by the family of Klaus Schwab. So, I mean, his family definitely had So, dear Christy, we are about to open the phone lines soon. I'm just playing, of course, Xi Jinping, so then our viewers who want to intervene will be able to call us.
Confronted by the once-in-a-century pandemic, which will affect the future of humanity, the international community has fought a tenacious battle. Facts have shown, once again, that amidst the raging torrents of a global crisis, countries are not riding separately in some 190 small boats, but are rather all in a giant ship on which our shared destiny hinges. Small boats may not survive a storm, but a giant ship is strong enough to brave a storm. Thanks to the concerted efforts of the international community, major progress has been made in the global...
The giant ship. Christy, what do you think of this giant ship? It's like the Titanic. We're all going to sink together then, no? If we have a giant ship with this Satanist, cyber Satan is, of course, what the Chinese want to sell us, and it's going to eventually manifest in 2030 because China wants to be the leading country in artificial intelligence.
Fight against the pandemic. That said, the pandemic is proving a protracted one, resurging with more variants and spreading faster than before. It poses a serious threat to people's safety and health and exerts a profound impact on the global economy. Strong confidence and cooperation represent the only right way to defeat the pandemic.
Okay, it's 2 minutes past the hour. We are opening up the phone line. This is the moment that Christy likes more, though, Christina. So what did you think about what I exposed today? The plan of Klaus Schwab, the action. He looks like Dr. Evil a little bit. No, don't you think so? He's like, really, he looks like some kind of like that, the Doctor, no, the James Bond villain incarnated, no? Watch him. I mean, when especially here, he looks like almost like some kind of Star Trek villain.
What is he wearing?
I know, yeah, it's kind of extraordinary, yeah.
And those emblems.
I know. What's that? Huh? Definitely an unusual character. Another German professor, another German Illuminati.
What's wrong with German?
I don't know. You are German, though, party, Christy. Huh?
Yeah, I am.
Which part of Germany is that? You actually grown up also in Germany.
Yeah, I did.
How was that?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was nice. But it was nice because still the East and the West were separated. I went to Germany before, in 1986, before the war. Then after, even we have now a new chancellor that was chosen after Angela Merkel.
I met Chancellor Kohl.
You met Chancellor Kohl when you were a little kid, eh?
Yeah, because I did good in my school. I got to meet him.
You got to do it, so you met Chancellor Kohl. But that was, in fact, a different time. Now you have a new chancellor that basically is another communist and is an ex-Stasi agent, just like Angela Merkel. That's the problem, huh? So it's like really we go from one Stasi operative to the other. Stasi, for those who don't know it, used to be the secret police of Eastern Germany. Feared, dangerous, and really one of the most, you can imagine. It was worse than the Gestapo, almost worse than the Gestapo, the Stasi secret police of Eastern Germany. Welcome everybody. 5 minutes past 6. I'm gonna put now the phone number so they can call, because of course the phone number is +1 for those who are calling from outside the United States, 970-577-6369. The lines are open. The lines are open. I'm gonna put the phone number here. Please call in if you want in the next 10 minutes, because in 10 minutes the show is, of course, we are 10 minutes in the show in 10 minutes. Huh,
Okay, unless we're having fun.
Unless you're having fun. Christy. Okay, so this week you've been really cooking. What cooking? It's not even cooking. You have been preparing sushi.
Well, I learned how to make it, and then I had a lot of nori, and so I had like a whole package of it, and it was really good. And so we had sushi, and then we took a day off, and then we had sushi again, and then we took a day off, and then we had sushi again.
Now, I would like to show all our viewers what Christy managed to create. And it was.
It's not fancy. It's not really sushi either, because it doesn't have any raw fish. They're just a bunch of.
Well, there was some. Then there was the prawns, but they were not raw.
No, they were all cooked.
You cooked everything.
Yeah.
Well, you cooked it.
Yeah, I cooked everything. It's not really. I'm kind of like afraid to make sushi. Like
raw fish.
I don't know how to do it. So.
Then you have to be.
I might try it, but we have to take a break now. I don't have any more seaweed left, so
you have to take a break. Yes, we have to take a break.
I made spaghetti in between.
Confessions of an Illuminati Princess. Somebody says available from Amazon. Yes, available from Amazon.
Should I put this? Book right there.
What?
My book.
Yes, here your books. Here are your books. You can show your books.
Wait, there's this one.
Yes.
And there's this one.
That's good. That's good.
It's Route 60. Where is the camera? It's Route 66.
Okay.
It's on Route 66. This one's in America, and this one's in Italy.
Going back to the subject of Jesus for the Illuminati, they wanted to make a Jesus that basically was more like the God of reason, more than the savior of mankind. Reason was so important for the Illuminists, and then of course it created some positive outcomes from our society and some negative ones. Now, our founders here in the United States thought that embracing a republic instead than a monarchy was the right option. And actually, it came out like the best experiment in the world when it comes down to republic, because there's no republic, no democracies around the world like the one here in the United States of America. Somebody said, put the number of the screen on the... Okay, I'm going to put the number.
You didn't put the number?
No, well, I posted it on the chat.
Calling.
Okay. So then I put it. No, I put it, but...
Maybe nobody's going to call.
Well, no worries. We put ourselves here. That's it. +1 970 577 6369. Call.
Just call and say hi.
Just call and say hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi. Okay. Somebody said, I read Chrissy's book first before any of Leo's. Oh, that's good.
That's good. I hope you liked it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Glad to catch alive Leo and Christy. Now, well, that's great to have you on board. David Engel, he looks like Emperor Palpatine. What's that? Here we have. Welcome to the Leo Zagami show. Who am I talking with?
Are you talking to Mercy? And I'm the one who wrote the phone number on the screen because I did, until I put that, the phone number didn't pop up on my screen in the chat.
Oh, where are you calling from?
But I'm calling from Rhode Island.
I've been to Rhode Island when I was young, so I know it.
You've been to Newport.
Been to Newport, yes.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for all the information you bring us. And the Pew was a fabulous show. And would you consider putting something together like that again?
Well, it was a great show, and we have been discussing. Actually, I'm going to give a phone call in the next few days to Roseanne. I have to call Roseanne.
She didn't answer. We tried to call her.
Well, we have another phone call coming in.
Maybe it's Roseanne. Okay.
No, please stay on. The problem is usually I should turn off this because we have too many phone calls at the same time. Let me just answer here. Okay. So, guys, sorry for that. We have.
Wait, did you hang up on?
No, it's just that the phone was because I usually have that switched off. It was ringing from both my phone, the computer, everything was that. Okay, so yeah, but I mean, it would be nice to do it again. It's just that we had some problems with some of the Pew members. We hope we can overcome them, but it's not easy because our friend Lowell is a little bit. I mean, he was an eccentric character.
And I enjoyed Lowell, but if you can't get him back, maybe you could get someone else in his place.
Well, definitely, we are up for it. We definitely will discuss it this week. Or the following with Roseanne. I think it will be definitely a good idea to experiment again at the Pew. And it was a very pleasant show indeed, with a variety of people, as you know, each bringing their own, particular input. No, it was definitely a great experiment. Sometimes, though, it's always difficult to, especially when you are trying to bring together Jews, Christians, everybody, the Rudolf Steiner, mix of people thinking in very many different ways. At times, it kind of like becomes different to keep them together. But definitely it made for an excellent show. So thank you for the input.
And like it.
Definitely we will consider, hopefully we will get Roseanne to agree to have another Pew. Thank you for calling in, and we will thank you very much. Have a nice evening. And that was very nice. Also, please keep on calling. There was another listener who was trying to call. We couldn't answer because unfortunately we had a problem here. Now we can take all the calls. So if you want to call again, the phone number is the same, 970-577-6369. The lines are open, and we will be taking calls for another 3 minutes.
It's just hard because it's like you're the only one who wants to do the pew, and so you can't really.
No, it's not. I'm not really the only one. I mean,
John Barlow, I don't think he wants to do it.
I don't know. John Barlow, I think, got in an argument maybe with Lowell.
I don't know what happened, but like, yeah, and then Lowell, he's like.
He's very stubborn, and then David Perry is very good, very available.
Oh yeah, he was good. I bet he would do it.
He would do it.
I bet John Barnwell and David Perry would do it.
Yeah.
And I bet Roseanne would do it.
Yeah, well, we need
if she feels good.
We need to contact Roseanne and get her back on board. We need to discuss this. I know that actually Lowell is quite successful with his own Rumble channel. He has set up. I can't really get this Rumble thing going. It's such a pain in the ass. But we are at the moment on 2 YouTube channels today. One is the Canale Ufficiale, the Leo Zagami Show. The other one is Top Secret, the Leo Zagami Show. Now, for all those people who are subscribed only to Top Secret, the Leo Zagami Show, please subscribe also to the other ones.
Please subscribe because you won't find it.
Hello there. Can you excuse me?
Hello.
Yes, can you put the volume? You have either put the headphones or put in the background the volume lower, because otherwise we get a lot of feedback.
Okay. Buonasera, Leo.
Buonasera. Who am I talking with?
Maria Luisa. This is Marie Louise Sena from British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, from Canada, from the dictatorship of Canada. So how is things going there?
Oh yeah, things are not good in Canada. We feel what you're saying, and I really understand it.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, it seems like Canada is probably a country that is more and more joining forces with China that we can even imagine, because I heard that Canada is really expanding their collaboration with China, even on the military level. That is kind of scary in a way. I mean, we talk here about protecting Ukraine from Russia, but what about protecting Canada from China?
I totally agree with you. And this summer we had a bit of a scare when we heard that the Chinese were training in Canada. I mean, that's insane, totally crazy and scary.
Yeah, I mean, it's that is a very scary thought that they can be so close, and that America, because of the present people who are in charge at the White House and also in Congress, seem to not really care about the China threat. They care only about an eventual Russia threat, but the Russian threat is connected to the Chinese threat. They're both working together. I mean, we should always see them as very close allies. And if Russia invades Ukraine, you can bet a lot of money that China will then invade Taiwan soon after. I mean, the thing is that this destabilization that will be created, we are on the eve almost of a third world war here. And actually, we are on the eve of a third world war. And nobody seems to care and understand the consequences, because just like it happened in the First and the Second World War, once one invasion starts triggering the other, and then it becomes a world war.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to say, Christy, you look lovely tonight, as always.
Thank you.
And Leo, I have another question for you that's been on the back of my mind. Do you think that the Pope is a crypto Jew?
No, I don't. I mean, well, we are crypto Jews in the sense that we are both, me and Christy, Ashkenazi. We have partly Ashkenazi Jewish blood. But I will say that the links that I bring out in volume 7 of my confessions will clear this answer once and for all regarding Pope Francis. He is definitely very close to the Sabbatean Frankists. He has been very close to them in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. And for that reason, I think that there is definitely that side of things. Regarding his own blood, he's actually of Italian origins, from a part of Italy, from the north of Italy. But it seems like he's very Jesuit. And the Jesuits have this imprint. Now, Ignazio Loyola might have been himself maybe a crypto Jew, if we have to be honest about it. There is a lot of people that have said that maybe he had, but that means that is negative thing. I think that we have to be scared of the Sabbatean Frankists, not brand a whole race. Otherwise, it would be, of course, anti-Semitic. So we have to be very careful, and that's why I try to explain this in volume 4 of my confessions, the actual... did you ever read this book here?
No, but we are going to order the last one, the one that you talked about. We're very interested in that one for sure.
Yeah, no, I talked to you about this one in particular because here I talk about the Sabbatean Frankists, and it's very important in relation to the reality we are living together today, and their links to China, to the Jesuits, and everything else. Because there is some links, the direct links with China, also from the Sabbatean Frankists, like the Rothschild. But to then, like for example, somebody citing here, crypto Sabbatean Frankist Zoris labors. Then, of course, you have Sabbatean Frankists kind of gave their input for the birth of labor Zionism, which is, of course, another arm of international socialism, if you think about it. So we have, but we have to understand that within the Jewish world, they have fought these heresies for hundreds of years, since the appearance of both Sabbatai Zevi and Jacob Frank. So this is, of course, and then there was Ignazio Loyola, who himself was a member of the Alumbrados. The Alumbrados were the Illuminati of Spain back in those days. And they were actually known also to Adam Weishaupt. So the Illuminati inspired in a way, and of course his Erev Rav, we can say, because I would not even say that he was he couldn't be a Sabbatean Frankist at the time, Ignazio Loyola, because it was before his time. I mean, the Sabbatai Zevi came later on. So he couldn't have been a Sabbatean because there wasn't yet Sabbateanism. How you call it? Sabbateanism. It wasn't in existence. And there wasn't also Frankism, which came even later. So we can say, though, that there is the Erev Rav. Now, the Erev Rav is an interesting heresy that happened within the Jewish world from the moment in which Moses walked out of Egypt, and part of the people who followed them were not only the Jewish tribes, but were also some Egyptian magicians and other peoples that became part of that community that is known as the Erev Rav within the Jewish world. So I hope that this gives you maybe some explanation. But of course, if you want a more in the modern Erev Rav, it's difficult to explain it because it's a very difficult concept. But before the arrival of the Messiah, most of the rabbis will be from the Erev Rav, because Israel in itself has lost sense of real Judaism. In fact, we see what's happening with Israel in these days, embracing science more than God. Of course, I'm not saying everybody, because there is Orthodox Jews that think just exactly like us here. who are just in the same position as real Christians are these days, who have to fight against these fake Christians who basically prefer God over science. So thank you so much for this phone call, for the input you gave to today's discussion.
Thank you, Leo.
Have a great night. God bless you.
Buonasera.
Ciao.
Ciao Canada, survive Canada, try to survive. I mean,
Forza Canada.
ciao, a presto. Okay, must be some Italian origin here because
she had a really good accent.
Yes, it must
like
be
she
Italian.
Sounded like really Italian.
Really?
Like she then she sounded American or Canadian. But actually she sounded American.
Okay, so we
we
are of course at this point saluting. You want to take another?
I guess, and if anybody else is going to,
you want to give the possibility for another? I mean, I can open and take another call if you want. I mean, it depends from you.
Just like see, yeah.
Christy wants. Christy really.
We can end at an hour and a half, like
Okay.
90 minutes.
So, Christy, what do you think of Russia and Ukraine? I remember that once in a supermarket in Italy they thought you were Ukrainian.
Yeah, I had I had a hat on. I don't know. People think I'm from all over the place. Some people, like when I was in Germany, people thought I was German. When I was in Finland, then they thought I was Finnish. When I was in Estonia, they thought I was Estonian. And so and then when I'm around Russians, they think I'm Russian. And then I didn't really, in Italian, everybody knew I wasn't. I mean, I am Italian, but.
Of Italian origins, as well as German origins. Okay, so for those
I'm
who
American, I'm everything.
Well, a bit like me, I'm pretty much of a mix.
I'm a mutt. I'm a mix of everything.
Okay, so wanted to let you know 970-577-6369. I repeat, 970-577-6369. You have another 5 minutes, and then we will close the lines. Huh? Okay. Before, let's hear the latest demented statement from Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris.
I don't want to talk about politics.
I know, but Kamala Harris is not politics. She's a fool.
Today marks 1 year since President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris took office. At a news conference yesterday, the president announced Harris will be on the ticket with him in 2024.
Yeah, this is the thing. Do they really think they can bring back from the dead? He's already half dead. I can't even imagine. I mean, these people are insane. I mean, if he runs, this guy's going to run for what? He's going to run for old folks home. He's going to run for mayor of the old folks home. But he can't run for president of the United States. I mean, he can maybe run for mayor of Palm Springs.
No.
There's a lot of old folks here. They play golf. They play golf. There's a lot of libtards. They may enjoy having him here.
President we've ever had.
But I mean, guys, this is serious stuff.
Embarrassing.
Huh?
It's embarrassing.
He decides to run again. Now, that's the first time that we've heard that they could run together for re-election. Harris's vice presidency has been historic, as you know, because she's the first woman and the first person of color to serve in this position. She joined us earlier this morning to discuss the highs and lows of the last year. And now Vice President Harris joins us. Good morning to you, Madam Vice President. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Gail. Good to be with you.
You know, I know it was a very long night in the Senate last night. As expected, the voting rights legislation did not pass last night, in part because of two of your own party members. But the president says he can take action to protect the voting rights. What specifically are you going to do?
Well, thank you, Gail. First of all, it's really important for everyone to understand what's at stake. Around our country, there have been...
There is no problems around this country, voting rights. Well, what is she talking about? Do you think really that the problem today is the right to go and vote for millions of Americans? The problem today is to actually go to the gas station, not be able to fill up your tank, or go to the shop and see that everything is costing so much that it's impossible to even afford a steak.
I think that in Russia, they're drinking vodka and laughing at us.
They're probably doing so. I mean that, and at the same time, they want to invade and start probably all this plan for taking back Ukraine.
Everybody's
which used to be
mad. Nobody wants this. Not even the people that voted for him. It's like we're all trapped in this crazy hell of Biden.
It's incredible, huh? It's incredible. But then it's even more incredible how Jen Psaki, she.
Oh, that's.
Jens, how you call it? Huh?
Peppermint Patty.
Okay, Peppermint Patty. She basically, because at one point of yesterday's conference, which was a complete disaster for Joe Biden, he came up with kind of veiledly saying that in 2022 the elections will not be legitimate. I mean, the elections are in 1 year from less than 1 year from now. We will have the midterms elections, and he's already ventilating this possibility. When we all get back on track here, because there is too much fake news. Both sides need to stop this whole thing of talking about the elections need to be done correctly. And the idea of not having a voter ID in this country, they have it in the third world countries of Europe, because those countries are considered third world countries like Italy. How is it possible you don't have a voter ID here in the US? Well, in any case, Peppermint Patty, here she is. She deflected when she was kind of put, I know.
Does that mean I don't mean it in a mean way?
The president's intention was not to cast doubt on the upcoming midterms, but when a reporter followed up, the president said to him, "I'm not saying it's going to be legit. The increase in the prospect of being illegitimate is in direct proportion to us not being able to get these reforms passed." So yes or no, does the president believe, if all remains as it is right now, that the elections this fall will be legitimate?
But what the point he was making is that as recently as 2020, as we know, the former president was trying to work with local officials to overturn the vote count and not have ballots counted. And we have to be very eyes wide open about that and clear-eyed.
Eyes wide open sounds a little bit like eyes wide shut. And I don't know, eyes wide open, it kind of like a kinky reference to eyes wide shut.
Attention, potentially of him, and certainly of members of his party.
Okay, guys, so that was Peppermint Patty from the White House. And at this point, dear Christy, I want to show before we...
the meatballs.
This was the sauce for the spaghetti meatballs of this week that Christy make. Great spaghetti meatballs. I can tell you, Christy makes some fantastic spaghetti meatballs. We said the sushi is sushi, but as we have a lot of Italian blood between the both of us, we also need our fair dose of
what, pasta?
Of pasta, of course. So let me show once again, guys, the cover of the upcoming book that is being formulated as we speak. It's all coming together. This is the cover of volume 7 of my confessions. But before that, you need to purchase volume 6.66, because in order to understand volume 7, you need to purchase all the other volumes. Oh,
he's calling.
Hey, call that right on the spot. Okay, hello there. Who am I talking? Who am I talking with?
This is David and Stacy again from Rancho Mirage.
Rancho Mirage, the locals from the Coachella Valley. Of course,
yeah.
Of course. So,
okay, I have a question for you. I think I saw you on Alex Jones' show. I watch Alex a lot.
Yes, yes.
And recently, with what went down in Kazakhstan, is there any reason for that? Because of the pyramid there, and where they want to start a one world religion, and I guess that's the site where is it UFOs or?
You mean you're talking about the Pedo Island and that kind of like fake synagogue he had on top of the hill?
Yeah, I think he talked about a pyramid or something like that. Was there anything to do with the
Well, I tell you one thing about
okay. Kazakhstan recently, because kind of Putin controls Kazakhstan, and maybe the globalists want to control.
I will tell you,
area.
there is a connection with the Sabbatean Frankist that is direct, which is involving, of course, the father of Ghislaine Maxwell and Ghislaine Maxwell. So this will be unveiled in my new book. I can't tell you more about that because otherwise I'll be unfolding too much of my new book, and then people are not going to buy it. I need to. But apart from that, I will say that we always have to understand that the elite is finding a way out for Ghislaine Maxwell. It's true that she's been now condemned in front of the world, but it's also true that the final sentencing of her actions, I think, will probably be quite surprising, because we have to understand here we have on both sides interest to get Ghislaine Maxwell out of jail or in a coffin with Jeffrey Epstein, or send them both out to, I don't know, some unknown location in Antarctic, as some people said. But the thing is that Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Donald J. Trump, these are people that all share the common love for this kinky artist that went on with Jeffrey Epstein, that we don't really know much about. Like we don't really know much about another thing that has never really been cleared too much. What's under the island, the Pedo Island? Because there were some entrances to underground bases there, or underground, to an underground something that we don't really know what's there. Because
maybe he really didn't kill himself and he's under there.
Well, no, I doubt it. But who knows? Everything is possible. I know that there is a lot of things that have not been disclosed simply because there is very powerful people involved. And this demonstrates once again that these elite people really think they can get away with murder. Regarding though the upcoming situation of Ghislaine Maxwell, she is connected to all these people. She still holds some tapes, some secrets that have not been raided by the FBI, probably, that are in the hands of some person as a guarantee for her, no? So I think that she still has some chances. Of course, we have also Prince Andrew and the monarchy involved. The monarchy, which is, of course, an important institution. In fact, the Queen of England had immediately distanced herself. And she has said to
William too.
William also distanced himself, and also Kate. But the thing is that the Queen, the mother of Andrew, said, no, you have to now pay for your legal fees, sell your chalet, got all the titles away, because they have to preserve the dignity of this royal family. You see, some people don't understand that how royalty works, but royalty basically is like a car. It's like a Ferrari. If you don't have the right people driving it, you can, of course, destroy the Ferrari. No, if you have a guy who doesn't know how to drive, he will end up on a tree. And they can't afford that, because the Windsors have definitely too many scandals on their hands. And so for that reason, the Queen is trying to distance herself. And it's probably the only monarchy that still survives with a little bit of power, because most of the constitutional monarchies leave the monarch these days nearly nothing. And actually, all this is born out of the Illuminati, because constitutional monarchy came into place because of the Illuminati will to destroy all the monarchies. See, destroying the monarchies was very important to destroy Christianity, because a lot of these monarchies were defenders of Christianity, and so they had to be eliminated.
So Epstein and you're mentioning Epstein and the royal family and everything. So, like, the other kind of question I have, so there's like, I haven't looked it up, but my friend was telling me there's this study where they took like an old mouse and a young mouse needed a blood transfusion from the old mouse to the young mouse, and it basically made the old mouse live longer. So you have like situational.
Well, but I mean, the thing that they sell blood from younger children and they give it to adults, even here in California, there is a company that does it legally. So, I mean, unfortunately, the elite has been doing that for a long time. You think that Mick Jagger, who goes around touring like he's 20, he is like Superman. He is changing his blood every 6 months, flushing it down the toilet because it's full of drugs, full of stuff. That these people conduct a life of debauchery because then they can flush out their blood every 6 months down the toilet and change it with new blood from some children.
But that's what's kind of interesting. Religiously growing up, I was learned that blood is sacred and you can't partake of blood and things like that. But
yeah, but for that, I mean, yeah, of course, you have been taught that. Yeah, but remember that these people have nothing sacred for them. For them, they're only they have, like we said earlier, they put science before God. So if you put science before God, then you can do anything. And it's a little bit like in China, no? In China, they are thinking about doing the transplant of the head into another body. They are experimenting with monkeys that are a crossover between monkeys and human beings. We have recently seen, even here in America, a murderer who had stabbed, I don't know, 6 times, like getting the heart of a pig. I mean, how can that be? I mean, that sincerely, it makes me really, I mean, it's okay, but I mean, it's not okay. Really. I mean, I'm not, do you agree? The heart of a pig sounds like something not only not very kosher, but not very anything. I mean, it's something that stays in your body. People say the pig was genetically modified to fit the need of the person who got the transplant. But I mean, it's just like playing God, and this playing God is not going to end up here. That's why we go back to this idea that transhumanism is the future that Klaus Schwab and people like President Xi Jinping in China, and they will endorse. I mean, the fact that they are going towards a microchip that even reads your thought is because we will not be able to have any privacy anymore, even between in our head, and they want to control us in every aspect, unfortunately. So I hope that you understand that we need to reject all this, but to reject all this we have to be ready. And we have to understand how to reject it. And so that's why I personally wrote this new book.
From society to for these things, right? So it seems like they're trying to transform religion, right? And that's where you kind of like Kazakhstan and a one world government. I mean, a one world religion kind of comes in.
The one world religion, yeah, the one world religion is part of this, because the one world religion in reality is the non-religion. The one world religion in reality, it's a project to in the end put science over religion and just get religion to be I don't know, I mean, something that people can embrace without really having any effect on society. They
an entity from outside this world came in, gave us a whole bunch of technology that kind of goes.
But the entity that, the entity that, like I will explain in my new book, the entity that brought us into this situation, it's also an entity that is probably already working with the artificial intelligence, and so it's already an artificial intelligence, and that is Cyber Satan. That is why we talk today about Cyber Satan's apocalypse, and that's why my new book also touches on the subject that, yes, we talk about aliens, but the aliens, who are these aliens and what technology are they using? They are probably already in the artificial intelligence more than us, because they have, of course, already lived what we are living now, and maybe they have already lost any part of their soul in favor of this very cold-blooded, cyber satanic transhumanist reality. Thank you so much for calling in from Rancho Mirage, good friends. Bye. And of course, thanks to all the people who followed us today. Rambo, what's up?
We have to take him for a walk.
Rambo wants to go for a walk, guys, so we have to really go because we went over the 90 minutes. Take care, everybody. Share this video and subscribe also to the emergency channel so you can always follow the Leo Zagami show when we are blocked, banned, whatever.
We'll be back on Saturday.
We will be back for our Saturday show at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific Standard Time, 11 o'clock Mountain Time, 12 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time.
Bye, everyone.
Rambo, what's up? Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. 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 Come here. Come here. Say hello. Wash. Eh? Ah. Bello de oro. Yeah. Take care. Bye. And that's it from Palm Springs, California. Enjoy the evening.